I was super shocked. They were taking my luggage. They start like
Right.
opening the luggage, questioning why did you came from Romania here and why you don't
Right.
have ticket to go back. I felt like the country was small for me, so I was always dreaming that I can change my life.
Every immigrant has a story of love, heartbreak, and resilience. I'm Claudio Munoz. After 30 years in the United States, I created this podcast to share the voices that once helped me survive. These stories have power, they guide, heal, and inspire, especially when you're far from home or about to leave. I share some of mine, now I want yours. We are all immigrants, those who leave, return, or dream, because being an immigrant is being intense. Here where I live, I'm in Louisiana, Florida. I have Roxana with me today, Roxana Vinca. She's from Romania. She lives in the United States. She's an immigrant like myself. For the people that don't know my story, I migrated to the U.S. in the 90s. So I've been here for over 30 years. So I've been here for a long time.
Thank you so much. Good evening for souls. My name is Roxana Paula Vinca. I was born in Romania, in Europe, in a beautiful country with 4 seasons. I can say that I am grateful to be an immigrant and grateful to have this chance to leave my country and come to the United States. I came 10 years ago on this land with open heart and open mind. Why do I say that I'm an open-minded and open heart? The moment that you realize that you open yourself to the universe, open and trust, life is gonna take you and you're gonna flow so beautifully. Life is just a dream, like many times I said on the platforms, because we are some beautiful souls. Everybody has a beautiful soul. We came to experience this form as a human being here. Born in Europe with a story of a communism and pain and suffering and traumas. Small, I was dreaming so big, and I had this feeling that I can do more that I'm doing in that moment. So I was always dreaming that I can change my life.
That's great. I like the introduction. You just say a few things right now that are very interesting to know about you. Or you say you left Romania 10 years ago?
Yes.
Why did you leave Romania? I heard communism. I don't know if it was political. What was the reason? Why did you leave your Romania 10 years ago, and why did you choose the U.S.?
I left Romania because I was always dreaming to transform, learn, and evolve more. And in those moments, when I was born in 85, the big communism, and it was kind of a dangerous, and also army was on the street and crazy. Growing there, the society imposed some regulations and stuff that you felt like you're just committed to be under a pressure all the time. Oh, you should be like that, you should act like this. I felt like the country was small for me, and I was always thinking like, it's not possible that I'm gonna just be here and get married, do kids, and stay home. That's it. So I cannot imagine myself being like that. I had these feelings from small. I already felt in me that I have this power of manifestation, and I felt like I can do more than that. I cannot just put myself in the, it's that spirit of the ships that everybody's going in a line after everybody. The political says you need to respect this. The religion, you need to go to the church. The school said, the teachers, you need to listen and be in fear and in pain. I never got that feel. I never liked it. I was very rebel. My mom said I was very independent. I wanted to change this, because I felt like it's not fair. You cannot be free and say how you feel and what you want. I cannot support. I stayed with myself and I said, oh, wow, it's not possible to be in a country that you cannot express how you are. You cannot be authentic. So for me, it was a big thing. And from small, I started like debating and searching and digging. And I knew it's more than this. It's not possible to be so small and just listen to somebody, and the president of the country wants to destroy and sell everything. The country is beautiful and you want to do something. You want to be there for them. Nobody lets you, Suddenly you see that they don't give you the chance. So it's it's really sad because it's a rich country, it's a beautiful country, but of course, like always, the government and more political, I'm not going to get in.
Right, right. Don't really try to get much into politics because and then people relate that immigration with politics, and I'm not really about that. I mean, everything you're saying is fine. Political reasons why people see, right? And then that makes sense. It's understandable. But, here in the U.S. right now, everybody's like the left, the right. Immigration is a hot topic. I don't really believe in politicians at all, either side. And that's just me. Really. But I do believe in people like myself and you, and they're big dreamers. You left for political reasons, and you always been a dreamer. And this kind of proved my point. I believe immigrants are entrepreneurs, right? Because they always want something different. You were dreaming. You said, "I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna be a follower. Right? You're not gonna dictate what I'm gonna be doing with my life." And I want to do something different, which is human nature. That's human nature to want to do more or explore or see other stuff. You made the step to leave Romania under a bad government, and that's the reality. That's immigration is created by politicians, and sometimes it's created by ourselves because sometimes we don't have any needs where we come from, but we want to see the world. Like I love culture. I'm happy that I'm talking to you right now using a language, right, that we can communicate. I can learn about you. You can learn about me. Learning multiple languages is a great thing. We wouldn't be able to make this podcast right now.
Exactly.
You left Romania. How old were you when you left? Were you a kid? Were you in your 20s? You were old?
I was 30 years old.
Right.
What age that you feel like you're a little bit more mature, let's say. I passed a few battles there. Tried and tried. I did some school and college, and then I experienced in my family. My father was an alcoholic. My stepfather was an alcoholic, and I literally suffered. And I deal with my traumas, my emotions, experiences as a child, as a teenager. In the meantime, I was working on personal development. How can I be better? How can I change something? How can I apply and go? What should I do for me to be better? I was always digging and asking questions and studying something. And I have these feelings in me because right now I love people and I love energy, and I feel like everything is energy, vibration. So then I felt that I had this calling that I'm going to go far away from my country and I'm going to do something beautiful, but I need patience to build step by step a beautiful story, which it is.
Did you had a career before you came to the U.S.? Was the U.S. your first stop, or you went somewhere else first and then you got to the U.S., or you flew directly to the U.S.? And did you had a career or not before you came to the United States?
Yeah, in Romania, I used to work in many spots because everybody says that, oh, you can easily find a job. It's not easily. The salaries are not like, they pay you the situation right now. The economically is not very well. So I worked in an office. It was, you're having in that comfort zone and the same routine. You go to the work, you go back home, you have your family. But I was grateful that I had family, of course. But then something in me was saying that I can just do more than that and I should just transform that. So then later, almost in my 30s, I met my ex-husband and he was talking about United States and how every time I was watching TV, CNN, start learning languages. Like you said, I was very into languages and I love languages. So I felt very connected with the Spanish language and I started like dancing bachata, salsa. I started like studying. I started like reading books and reading Secret and having this lot of like interesting story about love, laws of attraction and laws of manifestation and this and that. And then my only dream from small was like to go to the United States. I said, I want to see the American dream. And everybody was telling me from Romania, you're dreaming so big.
Right.
But I was keep dreaming. I say, I'm not going to give up because I feel and I know I can do this. The question was like, how, you need to have an ideal plan. Or maybe sometimes you don't need to have a plan. It's just the right moment, the right person or right action,
Right.
So then I met this guy and he told me like he met me literally a few days and then he said, what do you think about United States? And then he had a big globe and he turned it around from Romania and he said, at this point, what do you think if you're going to come and see and visit the United States.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's not possible because I'm so small for this big world. I
Right.
was afraid.
Right.
But then I felt in me, and I just want to say to everybody this, when you open the heart, like, do you have the feeling of a fear? That's the opening gate to the courage. I'm only saying this. Because that's the moment
Right.
when you need to realize when you have a chance in a positive way to take it
Right.
and get it, you know? Because maybe we have a few chances, maybe we don't.
Right. I think sometimes immigration get a bad reputation. Immigrant is just nothing but a dreamer that is not able to change things around them. So they change. They make the changes. In your case, in Romania, nothing was getting. There were political problems, and you couldn't change it. So you made the changes, you moved to another place. So sometimes you gotta be the one to create the changes. That's meaning you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to learn a lot of language. Yeah, you're going to be with a different culture, different language. Your case was the US, but migrants go to different countries. Spain has migrants, England, France, Italy, even Argentina, even Mexico. Costa Rica has a bunch of Americans right now. Asia. So migrants are all over the place. Very often, politicians use immigrants for their benefit. Immigrants do not cause any harm unless bad immigration comes in, because there is such a thing as bad immigration. People like myself, you, and many others, they just have a dream, they want a better life, whatever that is, but that's bad immigration. Just like you have criminals in any other country. There's not a good system for immigrants in any part of the world, in any other country, so these people always get in and ruin it for everybody else. I want to go after the stories like yours, so people understand that the step that you made is not an easy step. It takes courage, as you say, a lot of courage.
A lot of
Dream big, get out of your comfort zone. Make sure you like it, because now you are in another country where you're speaking with an accent. You speak English the best you can. You have cultural differences, right?
Culture difference is different. It's a shock because you change everything.
Right.
I'm gonna have your parents, my mom, to give me food. It's not gonna be
Right.
comfortable. It's not gonna be my country. Streets. I was just walking on my streets. I didn't have a car in my life.
Right.
First car I was buying in the United States. So everything is changing. No more
Right.
like my friends that we go to the neighborhood outside, we stay on the streets, we talk,
Right.
we have fun. No more. It's like you feel like you're in danger and the
Right.
survival comes in. And that's the
Right.
moment when you get out from that point, comfort zone, you get out, then it's your real deal. Then it's your real you.
There's a lot of rejection when you migrate to another country, and you have
Yeah.
to deal with rejection, which is tough. Then when you get rejected about things, in whatever area you're in it, or for whatever reason, and you don't have your family with you,
No.
you're alone. You don't have people you connect with, not because people don't like you. It's just the cultural differences. It's a process that you need to of adaptation. Sometimes we're not ready, and that makes us feel alone. Many times, week, Sunday, 3 days, and this is not to victimize an immigrant. This is just to show what it takes to be you today, or myself, to be here for 30 years, right? And it's maintaining because, all the years you're going to be in another country, you're maintaining, and you struggle, your personality, your identity, right? There's an identity issue. Those are things that we experience as immigrants, right? How was your first week in America? After you got here, right? How was it? What was your first reaction? Yeah, go ahead.
So when I left Romania in 2016, I remember it was December. It was very cold and snow. I took like boots and hats and jackets. And I remember I need to meet with my ex in Cancun, which was, oh my gosh, it's a long story, but it's interesting. I left from my city, from North Romania to South, to Bucharest, to the capital, with a train, like long way, 12 hours. There I slept with some friends. Then I went to the airport. From there I went to Germany, very close, like 2 hours from Romania. From Germany, I realized that I'm going to be in the airplane for the first time for 12 hours. And I asked myself, did you realize what you did? And I was in shock because it was a long way. My first time in an airplane, was very scared. And I had starting getting my thoughts very blurry, like, oh, why did you do this? I'm super afraid. Questioning myself with all these questions. It was so many questions, so many fears. In the same time, something was telling me, this is what you choose. That's the plan. That's the real deal. You're going to transform like you want it. Because I want to evolve and transform and changed my life for a better life. So I felt like I'm going to be more mature, like, knowledgeable, and wow, how many things I'm going to learn. And it's true, I learned a lot. But till then, you pass these steps that you cannot jump down. Go slowly. I got to Cancun, and when I got there, I was super shocked. They were taking my luggage. They start opening the luggage, questioning why did you came from Romania here and why you don't have a ticket to go back, because Mexicans, they are very strict. I think I spent almost 2 hours there. I was freaking out. I started speaking a little bit of Spanish, and the lady liked me, and she put me a bunch of questions, and I was very sweating. After a long interview in Romania with the immigration from United States Embassy, I passed the interview in Romania. Then I need to pass another interview in Mexico. I said, gosh, you don't.
Then another one when you arrived to the U.S. So 3 times. I think that's it. I mean, I don't know back then, but
I had
yes.
three. So something in me was telling me I can do this, but something in me was telling me, you should just die. Just leave it. And when I saw all these Mexicans on top of me with the Spanish so fast, I was like, how can I do this? Just reveal my path. Yes, they left me because I convinced them. I literally clearly said that I have a ticket just to come here and I'm going to go to Chicago after this, but I just spent some time and this is the plan and I'm not lying and they can search me because they don't have nothing with me. Of course, they let me pass after 2 hours of sweating and being stressed. And I saw the land. I saw a lot of palms and warm. I took out my boots and I took out my blouse and I had a beautiful t-shirt or something on me. I remember the smell was totally different than Romania, cold, and suddenly Cancun, you can go to the beach. Never saw in my life Cancun. But of course, in my mind, romantic girly Roxana, I was dreaming that a guy is gonna save me on a horse white and I'm gonna have a romantic dinner on the beach, of course. And then, yes, I got to Cancun and I was like, oh, you're romantic. Look, you're by the beach. And I went to see this sign, Cancun sign. And I start putting myself touching everything. And I touch myself and I was like, I don't believe, do I dream? Do I dream? And no, you're not dreaming. We're going to go to the beach. And I start kissing the land. I put myself in the knees. And I said, I don't believe I did this to my... You know what's interesting? In Romania, I used to watch Home Alone, that movie, with a child, with the McAllister, Kevin. And I imagine I was in a small condo in Romania, so small, 700 square feet. And I was watching these movies there. I was in the movie and I was dreaming how I'm going to be in Chicago in the winter and be there. I was dreaming like this very wild. And now suddenly I'm in Cancun and every night for a week, I cannot sleep. I was touching myself and pinching myself. Are you here? Are you okay? Are you dreaming? You're in Romania. It was so intense. The feeling of just leaving your country, not being your family, not your bed. You're in a hotel. You're in a totally different spot. We're gonna thought that Roxana's gonna go to Cancun. And after Cancun, he said to me, we're gonna go to Mexico City in Tulum. Mexico, Tulum. And after that, he said, we're gonna go in a jungle in Peru to do ayahuasca. The plant. Oh, I heard about it. I'm not an expert on that, on the topic. I heard about it. So, yeah. Did you do it? I did it for 10 days. Kind of learn about my subconscious mind. I understood my fears, my feelings, sort of myself that I never get it. So I never felt before. So I kind of got back to myself. So nice, interesting. You kind of see your traumas, your pain, I heard from Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson say he felt like he died and he died and he was born again. Yeah, you feel like you die and you rebirth. Right. You feel like you're just literally I changed myself a lot from that moment. I remember. I just passed my fears, limiting beliefs. I start getting out from comfort zone. I start feeling in a different way. The journey so far. You didn't make it to the U.S. yet. You're in Peru now. Yeah, we had 3 months outside of the country, outside from the United States. After those 3 months, I got to Chicago in March 3, 2017. And in Chicago was the same. You asked me, how do I felt? I felt very weird, super big Chicago. I didn't understand the streets. It was so big buildings. I was fascinated by the culture, stores, big stores. In Romania, it's small stores, small grocery. I'm in Argentina, where I'm from. Yeah, small streets in Romania. In Chicago, you need to drive a lot to go to downtown or something. When I heard you need to go to downtown 2 hours. I said, what, 2 hours? I was so depressed. I was so sad. Yeah.
No, in Argentina you walk everywhere. Like you can walk everything. You walk within walking distance, right? Or
Yes.
you take the bus, but here's all driving distance. You gotta drive everywhere.
Yeah. Everything was walking distance in Romania, very close to me.
Yeah.
And now in Chicago,
Right.
take the bus. I mean, not the bus. I mean, you have to have a car
Right.
or you need to go with something as it's so far away. And I felt like
Right.
very weird in Chicago. Like the weather was so dark. I felt like people, they were so busy, fast, everything fast paced. I didn't literally understand. And he was keep telling me that I need to get married soon because I have 30 days to get married. Otherwise, I can just leave the country.
Wow.
Because you have the limit, like how many days to get married.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 30 or 90. So it was a pressure on me. Then he told me we're going to go to a truck and we're going to have a life in a truck for 4 months. Come from Romania, from your comfort zone, your mom, from your food, going this vacation 3 months, being shocked all the time, like Peru, jungle, Mexico, this, that. And then suddenly you got to Chicago, you thought you're going to have a life like normal, to a house, you get married, and you start your life. No, you know what? We need to clean a truck.
Right. Right. Look, that happened to a lot of people. They meet someone and then they come to see how they live or how they're in the U.S. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that they don't have the life you think they have. And that's another thing that migrants go through, right? Also, I went through the same thing because my wife is from the Ukraine, right? So, and yeah, my wife is Ukrainian, and we also had 30 days to get married. And the problem with that, I think it was 30 days or whatever days, I don't remember anymore, but that was like 10 years ago. But the problem is, who can figure it out that the right person, you can marry that person for 30 days? You can't. But that's how the immigration system, and unfortunately,
it's a system that you need to respect.
Yes. It's terrible. It's not good. Anyways, we took a chance. My wife and I, we met 3 or 4 times in person. I flew to Ukraine. We were in Europe.
Same story. I met him super quickly. He came from the United States to Romania. I met him in a few days. And then he told me, I want to get married. And I got shocked. I said, you know what? Yes. It was my first time in my whole life because everybody said to me in Romania, you're crazy. You don't know him. How can I decide? How can you decide like that so fast? And I said, you need to listen to your heart. I guide myself after my heart, and my heart said yes. So I'm going to go. It's not about advantaging, because I had before different, like some people, they told me you should come in Ireland, in Spain, in different countries. I didn't say quickly to go just to advantage. I said, when I feel and I'm connected to my heart, I'm going to do it right. So in that moment, I felt I should go because it was my calling, not because I just want to be run away in the United States and I'm just doing intentionally against me. I have felt with all my heart that it's what I need to grow and evolve and transform exactly for my soul. It is, for people that are listening, it is a big risk. It's a card that you play, and especially you're a female. Men can also pay a high price, but females are more vulnerable, right? They're female. Yeah. It's a big risk for them to go to another country, and it's a risk you take. Yes. People that want more out of life, you have to take risk. Yes. Sometimes you have to try to make some common sense and do your due diligence homework, especially meeting someone overseas. Nothing guarantees you that things are going to go well. Likely for you, it wasn't all bad, right? It wasn't what you expected, but it wasn't all bad, and the risk paid off. In everything, it's a risk. Right. Imagine if you stay in your country comfortable, you get married with the guy that you met 5 years or 3 years or 1 year, and then later you have problems with him. It's inevitable to something is happening. So it's always something. We cannot say, oh, if I go faster, now I'm wrong. Or if they go late, it's wrong. No, my time was later, at 30 years old, later, because everybody was judging me in Romania and bullying me. Oh, you're not getting married, you don't have kids, you're not serious, you're partying. Because I used to like to party a lot because my grandma died when I was 15 and she suffered a lot. My mom suffered a lot. And I decided to enjoy my life. So it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Everybody has their own lessons. Everybody has their own stories and whatever. Your life is yours, and that's it. Mine. That's it. It's yours. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. I have questions. How did you build a new community or support system here in the United States? We talk about, a process of adapting to a new culture, all this stuff. You've been here 10 years, so I'm sure maybe you did, maybe you not, or maybe you, to a certain extent, you build some kind of support community. Right? Who are your friends? You have friends, you don't have friends. How do you do that? How should I put this? Yeah, it's an interesting question because how I see the the experience right now as a soul here on this land. So we came on this land, supposedly we are here to explore and journey. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So on your path, during my path in Romania, I had a community. I had friends and souls that they kind of stayed with me. And then when I left, when I got to United States, of course the path are going for me the other way, another way. I never judge them. I really respect everybody's decision. If they go to Europe, to United States, whatever, I'll have some contacts from Romania, a lot of them. Here in the United States, it's a different story. It's a big land. And I moved from Chicago to Arizona, from Arizona to Miami. So every time when you move, you start meeting different people. You go to social networking. Right now, everything is digital, online. I don't feel like literally you have every day, people that you can see them here connecting, how it was in the past when we were young kids and we had like a group and we had that social more, which is missing. I feel like in the United States, the social part, it's kind of a missing. People are so busy working and going like 2-3 jobs, but then they don't have time for themselves or to be with others, to connect with others, which is important for us as a human form. So for me, it's like I'm not upset. I feel like when I stay with myself, I can educate myself, I can read, I can do classes, I can study, I can just share something. I go to the beach, I go to a meditation to the beach, and then you connect with souls. And then everybody's doing in their life. They go back to their house, they go back to their jobs, they have their own life. I don't see people here having time to social more. The social is in grocery. When you go to the grocery, hello, how are you? Good. I miss you. Hello, bye. And then maybe they go to a network event or like a dinner or a lunch. But then you don't see that every day. Or like in Romania, I be every weekend with the same people. Like every week we did like paella, we did barbecues, food, we sleep, we talk, we dance, we have fun. It was so nice, those moments. I keep remembering my family, friends, and I said, wow, it's so important to have maybe, like you said, a community, a group, or something with somebody that you share some thoughts, something that you read, something that you experience. And what I like about this world is like the more that you, like you said before, the more you open yourself, I open myself to learn more, the more you expand and you can just grow beautifully your soul. It's all about your soul journey here. So it's like we come alone on this land and you go alone. Yes, you choose some people on the land, you choose some lessons, experiences, but literally we came alone and we go alone. I'm not very attached. I'm not like, oh, I'm upset that I don't have 3 friends right now. Or like I don't have people all the time. Yes, I miss those moments. I love people. I love to social and I'm funny and open, but I like time with myself too. I like to be with me alone. I like to stay quiet, just create, cook, or like design or whatever I do. I go to the beach or it's a different way right now in this moment. It's not like, for example, I went last year to Romania to visit after 10 years and I met with some people and I went to the mountains and I started talking about my experience from here and they put me questions and we got in touch with each other, like sharing food. And it was so nice. Literally, it was fulfilling. It was beautifully, And it was for a short time, like a month or two. I visit Europe and I got back here. Here, it's a total different. It's a big world, big system. You cannot have this expectation to have everybody next to you all the time like a baby. Somebody needs to be next to me all the time.
I don't know if United States was always like that. It's a cultural thing. Literally, with everybody else that I talk to that come to the U.S., have the same experience. Romania and Argentina, where I come from, or even my wife, where she come from, Ukraine, it's very similar how we are with interact with people socially, how we like to socialize with people, go to a restaurant, have coffee, spend time with the family. We do all that kind of stuff. But we have completely different cultures, but yet we got these similar things. So I was saying, I don't know if the United States is, that's the way it is here. I know that in a consumer society where people are constantly buying and replacing. That's how you basically get into debt, and getting in debt, it makes you a slave of the system. And you constantly have to be working to maintain that luxury life. That's a reality. And because you're always working at 1 job, 2 jobs, whatever, you basically do the same thing that other people do, but you do it with your own. Maybe your own family, right? Or you're tired to do a lot of stuff. Most people just want to go home, take a beer, eat some meat, watch TV. They don't feel like going anywhere. I heard from people like the day wasn't like that, but I don't know because I wasn't here back then, but that's a very common thing. No matter what country you come from or what language you speak, they always have that similar thing that they talk about. Not that it's a bad thing, but I think there is a price to pay and you want to have a luxury life, right? I live in Louisiana, and the culture of Louisiana is way different. People are more outgoing. I don't know if you knew, but Louisiana it was basically a French community that moved here many years ago, right? They escaped from Canada, escaped persecution, and there were other Europeans here in Louisiana, and they built what Louisiana is today. Some of them are Cajun descendant. Cajun is basically someone who's a mix of French with something else. They call Cajun someone that was not 100% French. So one of my French, Cajun, or Louisiana friends are watching this show, if I say it wrong, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's true.
But people like to go out and socialize here a lot. But it's still America, and you still have a little bit of what you see. But the best place to me so far, there is a lot like you see outside of the United States, Louisiana. Right, the way they're social, they have a lot of restaurants, a lot of food. But anyways, I think there's some truth in that, feeling alone. And I think when you come to a country that is not yours, the cultural adaptation is a real thing.
It's a really big thing. If you're not ready, if you're not powerful, and then you're not ready to understand that everything is changing, moving, transforming quickly,
Right.
It's a fast paced, and you're not ready, you're gonna be hit. Like somebody's gonna hit you in the face. Like it's like a wall that you hit,
Right.
boom, boom, boom. But then when you realize that you're just experience and go with the flow and just adapt, you need to be flexible. I was very flexible to get out from Romania, in Peru, the jungle, go back to the Chicago, go in Arizona, go in Miami. I was flexible and open to explore this life as it is.
Right.
So you don't judge, you don't want to change, you just adapt and go with the flow, you know?
Right. If you think about, I'm going to give a stupid example right now. So if you're learning another country's language, let's use English right now as the easy example. The culture in England or the culture in Australia or the culture in, I don't know, any other speaking country, English speaking country, and the US is completely different. The language is the same. They use different slang, different street words. They have their own words, but it's English, right? So you're going to be able to communicate. But the culture is different. So if there's a joke that I might do as an Argentinian, and Americans not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it. So
It's true.
or if I'm a British person, I'm English or from any other speaking country, and I joke about something that is funny in English, it's not gonna be funny in the United States. It is a process that when you're in a group of people, you try to socialize, you feel awkward because they're joking about something. You don't know. I can laugh about those things because I have 30 years here, 30 years. But if I go to Romania and people start joking, I'd be lost. I feel awkward because I don't know what they're laughing about, right?
It's wrong.
And that's one of the many things that we go through when you're adapting to a new cultures. A lot of people isolate, want to be alone. They miss their country, they miss their family, they miss their friends. They miss their comfort zone.
What you told me right now, like I experienced in Chicago, they were like joking, super cold, more like, let's say, a sarcastic way of joking, or like I heard on the TV or like in a podcast or something that I listened the jokes here, like the humor was for me very seco.
Right.
And then I didn't get it. And I was like, for months I was struggling with that. I
Right.
cannot laugh on these jokes. It's
Right.
cold for me. And they were like, how come? Because it's so cool.
Right.
For me, it was not cool because in Romania we joke differently. My jokes
Right.
are totally different, and I
Right.
understand. One of the struggles that I had is to laugh, to understand their jokes. Now I get it because I start doing me to improve comedy on the stage, and I realize how they
Right.
here. But it's totally different than Europe.
It takes time. It takes time to learn those things and to, while they're laughing.
Yeah. And that was one. And the other one was, of course, the language. Till I
Right.
get the slangs, different types of like accents. And then I travel with a truck. When I got to Chicago in 2017, I was 4 months on the truck. And then I saw like people like from the truck with a long beard, dressed in a different way. My life changed. I need to be so like simple, casual. And I used to be in Romania with high heels, makeup, cute. And now I'm like a man. Suddenly you just get out everything and dress like a pajama. I saw them in pajama in Walmart and I was like, pajama in the Walmart and in the airport. I was shocked. But then life was telling me in the same time what I realized that we are so low minded, small minded in Romania and Europe. And maybe if you're here large, you realize that it's just things, you just wear something, you go somewhere. You see, you need to be together with everybody as it is. Don't judge, don't criticize, adapt to different situations and factors, because it's a lot of factors going on.
Yeah,
Timing, the language, the accents, the pajamas, the truck.
right.
You cannot go to the bathroom when you want. It's a lot of movement. And then in Romania, as condo with my mom, somebody's cooking for you. You go to school and then later go to college. If you have money, if you don't go, you work. You don't
Right.
have a car. I go with the bus, with the train. So interesting that process, but I didn't like it. I used to judge. Oh, I don't have a car. I don't have the life that of my friends. My friends used to have beautiful cars, lives. They have different parents. I don't have that. I was kind of a judging my life, not really happy with what I have in my family, but in the same time, I was going out to enjoy like bachata, salsa, clubbing, searching for myself. And then I was keep seeing people that they have money, life. And I was like, I don't know why did I chose this life, but I saw myself awfully. Like I saw myself ugly, literally. I didn't like, hey, why did I get in my life in Romania? What's the meaning here? You stay here, you have a poor life, simple. You have a house, you have with your mama house, some food, but something I said is just, this is what I need to experience my whole life.
Right.
I was very like badass in the moment. Now, when I got here, imagine seeing people in pajama and then the truck life. I start realizing the appreciation for my country, small steps. I said, wow, yes, I have my mom, I had some food, I had people there, friends, family, and now I don't have nobody. I have a truck, rules here. Husband is super tough to be in time, his lines. And I felt like it was a tough life for me here. And I think it was for me to realize and appreciate everything that we have, no matter what, simple as it is.
Every culture has something good. I like the comfort of be however you want to here. Nobody's gonna judge you. You can be in pajamas. You be however you want to be. At the same time, you also lose the. I guess nobody force you. Like in our countries, society determined that you have to go to your house in a certain way. You don't have that pressure. At the same time, force you to do something for yourself. Right? To go out. Like I remember when a funny story with my wife. First time we went to a restaurant in the United States, my wife dressed up like for I don't know a famous event, right? She was amazing, just so beautiful, high heels, and I had to dress up really good. And I told her, you don't have to really overdress to go to the restaurant here, but you can. And we went to the restaurant, and as soon as we crossed the door, everybody turned around to look at us like, what's going on? And after 15 minutes, we had to wait in line. That's another thing. Restaurants are so full. You
Yeah.
wait like that doesn't happen in our country. You don't have to wait to eat. And someone is like, let me ask you a question.
No.
Are you guys Europeans? Because the way we were dressed up. I said, I'm not. I'm Argentina, but my wife is. And it was usually because they could not stop staring at the way we dress up. I think like everything else, everybody has good and bad.
Of course.
The one thing I learned, Roxana, is when you're young, you craving certain things. You have the spirit of going out and you want cars, you want materialistic stuff. But as you get older, you just want family, you want love, and you want time. And unfortunately, one of the things that people don't have in the United States is time. You don't have time. Most of the time,
Subject that I love. You touch something
yeah,
that I love.
you don't have
It's
time.
so precious.
You don't have time. That's the one thing I miss. Yes, I let myself go in the United States because nobody forced you to dress up great or whatever. But that could be a good thing and a bad thing because like I say, it should be a choice. But I guess in other case, it's nice that your society will push you to dress up better. And my wife and I we talk about the same thing. But United States is a great country. It has a lot of great things they have adopted from Americans. I love this place in many ways, and I respect and I don't want to change anything about the United States. That's another thing I would give advice to other immigrants. When you go into another country, you're not going to impose the way you are. You're going to learn
Exactly.
and adapt, because that's what it means to get out of your comfort zone. You want to be comfortable, so you want the new country to be like the way you want it. It's not gonna be. Learn the language, learn the culture, because when you learn the language and you learn the culture, you learn about them, right? You understand the joke, you understand why they eat certain food, you understand how they think about family, you understand the love language. And that's another thing why sometimes we get bad reputation, because some immigrants go to other countries, try to force or impose their origins. I disagree with that. I have a question about in regards of your career and travel business. You want to touch?
Yeah, I was thinking what you said earlier about many people. I really love United States. I love USA because I came here with an open heart, open-minded to learn, to grow, to learn different languages. I speak Romanian, English, Spanish, Italian. Oh, yeah, I wanted to point like you that you don't need to impose your style from your country here. You can adapt, educate, and trim, like cutting the diamond. You are a diamond and you kind of want to polish yourself in a better. That's why you chose to be here, not to start like imposing your own style here. Just maybe you want to adapt and have a better life, and maybe you travel and you have the chance to be in a land, like I said, so big. It was so big for me first. It's very big. And I become a citizen. I passed the interview, passed many struggles and experiences to become just a little bit better and share outside some nice knowledge, not to kind of impose my Romanian style and put the people to be like me. No, no, no. I just left Romanians like Romanians, United States, United States. And being here, for me, it's a great chance. I was always grateful and thankful the fact that I had a chance. I know that if I was back in Romania, I have a different life. I'm aware, but also I was enjoying in that way, in a simple way. But then coming here, everything is changing. The moment that you start learning a language, you start like expanding, you start like traveling, you start like learning about, I love this. I love to learn about people, learn about history, what was the war, how was happening, how they suffered, how they passed everything. If I go to Mexico, I start going to the museums and study and see what was there. I'm very curious and interested about this. But that in my part of the career in Arizona, I was building some nice communities. Remember, I started as a caregiver in Arizona on the truck in Chicago, in the truck for 4 months. Then I went to Arizona to kind of have the vibe of the West Coast, because I was dreaming about that. And I said, how I want to just test it and see how it is. And in Arizona, like as a caregiver, I took care about elderly. I started liking the idea of like taking care about them, inspiring them with my stories. They told me the stories of their lives. And then I become better and I start building my business as assisted living home for elderly. And I saw that when you're here and you start giving them trust and you work and you show them like respect, they're going to give you the same respect and love and care here. It's your own path and your own journey. Everybody has a different destiny, different lessons, different types and different countries, languages. But then, like I said, it's an immersive, it's always going, transforming and changing. You cannot be stuck in just one story. Like with my ex-husband, we divorced. He took his life and he left. So then the moment that we divorced, in that moment, everything was breaking, the business, the life. And okay, again, go to the tragic part that you're sad, need to pass you need to understand why was happening that. Maybe both of us, we had challenges. We were not at the right moment. We passed many things together. He was kind of he wanted to be alone, to do his life soltero. So that's okay. It's another like stepping stone, another lesson, another wake up, Roxana. It was good for me to awake and to become more mature, I said. And in my divorce, I realized more things about me. So I really encourage the women that they are afraid of like divorce, or if you lose somebody, don't feel like you're like the worst one. Don't feel like you have a problem. Maybe it's an experience for you to wake up and realize and transform. It's nothing so bad. In that moment, of course, I saw that thing so tragic. And I said, everybody's going to laugh about me. I remember the Romanian style. Everybody's going to laugh about me. I'm going to be judged and criticized. And I was so like sad. And kind of I put myself down because I decide that. So if you can, if the public listen to me, decide to don't put yourself down. Don't be sad. Take your sadness, change your attitude, because attitude is everything in life. And imagine, because all these steps, they take you back to yourself. That's the thing that I want to say. Every step and every experience, they take you back to yourself.
If we go back to the example of like in Romania or Argentina, even Ukraine, you have to, the society say, if you're going out of your house, you have to dress up in a certain way, right?
Yes.
The same with marriage. You have your Ukrainian way of thinking, your Romanian way of thinking where like, I'm a bad woman, I'm a divorce. These are things rules that people create, society, parents. People have this rule for many, many years and they don't change. And they put it in your brain, right? Then you come to a place to the United States, right? And then you're dealing with those thoughts that in the United States nobody cares. People divorce every day, right? It's not that it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. Divorce is bad. It's bad. But if you must divorce, right? And I'm saying divorce is bad because if you have kids, if you don't have any kids, not a problem. But if you have kids, kids suffer a lot during divorce. Having kids, if you don't have any kids, it's not bad. I don't want people to misunderstand. But nobody cares, right? But it's your own fire, your own thoughts that make you believe that is wrong. But that's what I'm saying. Like every country,
everybody's putting like
right?
A message on like a tape. Oh, you are this, you're divorced. In Romania, they judge you very strict. When my father left me at 3 months, I was very baby. Later, when I started becoming a teenager, I was asking about my dad and I wanted to go and see him and met him. It was painfully for me. The teenagers, like you said, we are suffering. And nobody knows. Everybody's judging you. He's just a child. He does know nothing. It's not like that. A child feels everything. Just so you know, mothers here on the screen. We are suffering. Everybody has feelings. You pass in you some questions. And I was asking myself, where is my dad? Why it's happening this? Why my mom is saying that? Why my mom is not there? So we cross some waters, like wild waters. And then later in life, when you divorce, again, you lose your masculine, the guy that supposedly he was there for you or whatever. Again, you have that in your mind, limiting beliefs that if you're not with him, you're not okay, then the life is going to hit you. So then in that moment, life hit me again to be powerful and go back to myself, to realize that, of course, I have a partner on my road, but I cannot put everything on him. So in the divorce, I many things. I realized my power. I realized about myself. I started learning more. I was more aware. It was a beautiful transformation.
I'm glad that you see it that way because that's basically what it is. You know, life present to you good and bad things and both sides of whatever situation it is. If it's good, learning something. If it's bad, you're learning about yourself. We are survival creatures. We're meant to survive. Ancestors used to get eaten by dinosaurs or giant creatures and they'll have to defend from that. Today we don't have to worry about that, right? Because we have cars, we live in a civilized society. Sometimes we think that this stuff like a divorce, again, I'm going to repeat, you know, if you have kids, it's a bad thing. But if you might divorce and if it happens, you have to survive. And that's what we are built for. And the ones like yourself see it the way you see it, it makes things a lot easier because you can sit down and whine all you want. Eventually, you're going to survive whining. But if you see it the way you see it, where this is an opportunity for me to become better, right? Exactly. And then you improve yourself, you evolve, because that's what every situation, living from Romania, going to different countries, flying on an airplane, going across custom, an immigration, and dealing with other cultures, learning another language. This is evolving you as a human being.
How many Claudio shocks I had in my body, like mentally shocks, cultural shocks, the language, even the barriers that can I be, I'm okay. Do you think they see me fine? You know how many questions I had in myself, like in my mind? I was playing with my mind a lot and with my heart. And my heart was always telling me, never give up, keep going, you're going fine, and discover yourself and go. The moment that you give up on yourself, the life is going to give up on yourself. So for me, I'm working on my book right now. I am trying to put a book outside about this, about my story of my life. And my quote is never give up, which I love it because I want to inspire the entire world if I can. That's one of my dreams, just to share my experience, their experience. Of course, it's different, but then we have similarities. We have the same blood red. And yes, we have this experience as a human form in a body. We want to experience the emotions, the pain, struggling. But then the other part, if you see it, oh, wow, this pain helped me to grow and learn this. And look at me from the back, like you said, from Romania from 2016 to 2025, how many things I achieved. And it's in a good way. Everything was going to educate me and learn about myself, which for me was fine. Of course, in that moment, you have that moment of like, I'm on the floor crying, and you cry and you want to feel the feel. And I'm telling you an advice to everybody. Feel the feel the pain, and observe, breathe that pain, and then transform. And then see the other part. How can I transform this in a beautiful way? And it can be, because I worked on the reprogramming my mind. I'm working on this stuff a lot. And I saw it's possible to change yourself, but you need to trust, you need to action, and you need to have this desire and passion to do it. It's not just about saying, oh, I want to go there, but I'm not going to do nothing. So it's some steps.
Pain can definitely be a fuel for you to improve yourself. You just gotta be valiant and make that determination, because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, and you're gonna be afraid. You were afraid on everything you did, but you did it anyway. And in the times that went wrong, you learn from that, and the times that were great, you enjoy it. But that's the way. There's no other way. And I believe in self uh, evolution, and but it takes determination, and always look more on the inside than on the outside, right? I was talking to this guy from Argentina. I did a podcast with him, and he was saying his name is Hernan, and he's a recovered drug addict. He's been clean for 27 years, and he helped a lot of people right now with
I saw him.
yeah,
Thank him very much.
that's a great podcast, a great social media platform with over 2 million followers. And he basically say, sometimes we have to talk more and talk and speak more and say more what happening to us. Yeah, because I was at one time where I was on my knees, not knowing what's going to happen with me the next day. And I was able to turn around my life. Some people don't have that ability, right? I was able to turn pain into fuel. But when you going through that situation, you don't have to be alone, right? You can speak up. We got to speak up more. And a lot of times we don't say anything because we think this talking or saying these things is bad, or we're judged about talking about ourselves. Just speak up more. Talk to people.
You see, that's me. The secret is communication in everything. The moment that you decide to speak, I was always like this. Even in Romania, United States, I was always speaking up. I say, I need to speak, I need to explain, I need to tell to these people that they need to listen that. It's so important to speak and to communicate and to express. That's the most beautiful thing that I heard right now. I just love it. Because I know how important it is to communicate. How can somebody feel your feel or know what's happening with you if you don't speak? How can this word can help you or guide you if in the guidance, if you don't say nothing? You just stay in your house. For example, like you said, somebody is doing drugs and they are hiding in the house. Maybe they need help, but they don't talk to nobody. Who is going to know? So I like that the people, I see the society right now, which I'm studying a lot of personal development, emotional, and the brain. And I did some classes in neuropsy about the brain. How can you change the brain and the limiting beliefs? And I am doing for myself right now some coaching classes to become a coach, a mentor, which I love this about people. And I always tell them when I work with people, please speak. Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid of nobody, just about the divine. That's it, nothing else. Be yourself, be authentic. The more that we put the mask, you have a mask and another mask, and I'm not this and I'm somebody else. And you pretend, it's gonna be hard for you to pretend for years. And then you forget, and then you lie. And then somebody's gonna catch you. So just better be yourself. If somebody needs to be with you, it's gonna be. It's not meant to be for you, it's not gonna be. And that's fine. Just accept it. Embrace it and don't fight it.
I'm definitely not afraid to speak up and have a voice. You as a coach could be the voice for other people, right?
Love people.
It was a great great podcast. I have a lot of fun talking to you. An hour and 18 minutes.
So fast.
I like your story. I hope if someone wants to migrate, listen to your story and take your advice. Be afraid, but face your fears and be cautious because at risk sometimes it could be very dangerous. So make conscious decisions. Do your homework. Learn about a person. If you're dating someone, learn about that person before.
Jump like me. It was the most amazing story. I'm still grateful and
Right.
I say I'm honored that I experienced this story.
Right.
People they didn't experience like me.
Right.
And I'm sorry for them, but imagine we have different destinies.
Right.
I cannot manage all the destinies. But I'm telling you, if you feel with the heart and you experience something nice and you feel like it's good, listen to your heart and trust that sometimes we are not for nothing. Nothing is coincidence. I don't trust coincidence. Something is put in place for us.
We also have the power to change things, and you change your surroundings.
Yeah.
You were in a country that kind of was determined how you should behave, how to live your life, and you say, "Well, I'm not gonna take that, and I'm leaving," and you left. When things don't change around you, you change the things. You change them yourself. Switch.
I think it's the inner way. What you experience, you see outside, you need to start changing inside. That's good. Work on yourself, introspect, ask some questions, trust the inner way. Just be aware. Be aware. Have the healthy questions and never give up. Life is a journey, not a destination.
I don't know if there's any people watching or not. I can't really see, but if someone has a question, if there's no question for Roxana or me, whatever, we're just gonna end the podcast. It was fun. It was my first live podcast. It was good, and I'm happy to work with you, Roxana, because you get good energy. It's fun.
Yeah, that I loved. That was one of my dreams to start creating a podcast. In the moment that you told me, I was laughing because I am coaching myself. I'm training myself to become better for people. And then in that moment, I was doing a class. And I said, if universe, if you love me, send me not a coincidence, send me a synchronicity to see, to trust you. And then you texted me about podcast. I said, that's a good one.
Right. It worked. Yes, I believe in that.
Me too. Yes. We create every day with our vibration, our energy, what is happening to us every day. If you have a bad day, decide if you're fine in that day. Ask yourself in the mirror, how am I today? How is my level of energy? And then do something for yourself. Listen to you, your body, your heart. Start like saying, should I need to eat something? Should I sleep a little bit? Should I do an exercise? Should I shake my energy? It's something about you. Everything that you experience outside, start watching yourself because it's about us. I'm sure we'll be talking more. Gonna be interesting to see how you do with your coaching career. I have a platform that I'm building. It's for mental health. So I'm sure we can have a spot for you there. So thank you again. And much. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Peace out. Have a good night. Bye. Bye-bye.